It is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee. Jasmine from thejasminebrand.com is here.
Yes.
And my girl Melyssa Ford is here.
You're
Melyssa Ford. You can watch her, by the way, on the Joe Button podcast. You've been bringing a lot to that, so I appreciate you being on there.
Thank you.
Holding it down.
Holding it down for the women.
And I was saying earlier, Melyssa and I first met. We both worked at Sirius at the same time.
A million years ago.
And it was an interesting time because I feel like, and this still happens, and I actually was just talking to my girl Jasmine, who was on with D.L. Hughley, how people always try to like pit women against each other, like, oh, there's another woman coming, y'all not going to get along. It's only, you know, this person or that person. But we actually got along from the very beginning. From when we first met, we were able to bond over all of our different stories of things that we had gone through.
Yep. Definitely.
And one incident, because Melyssa and I used to really hang tough. We both lived in Brooklyn. And we were, and when I say outside,
we were outside.
we were outside.
Well, y'all were outside before outside was called outside?
Yeah, we were outside when it was just...
We were running these New York City streets, girl.
Right. But one incident, we did go to an event, and Melyssa had interviewed R. Kelly prior to this event. And it was like an R. Kelly launch party, listening party. I don't remember what it was for, an album release.
It was something.
It was something, but it was a nice event. It was outdoors. R. Kelly was there, but he was like sitting by himself.
Yeah.
In some corner. No one was anywhere near him.
Oh, wow.
And Melyssa had just interviewed him, so she saw him. He called her over.
Okay.
And so I was like, let me just mind my business, you know, walk back here.
Okay.
And then I see her over there, and he's crying.
Wait, hold on.
And I'm like, what did Melyssa say to
Hold
this?
on, Angela. Tears are coming down his face?
Yes,
So
he
Melyssa,
was sobbing.
I never really asked you about what happened that night.
Because I'm still, to this day, wondering what was going on. Like, literally, he just got so emotional. He just started crying. And I was like, is anybody else seeing this
What
right
did you
now?
say to him, and what did he say to you?
Nothing that warranted tears.
Right.
It was, I don't know. It just seemed a little performative.
You were like, you did that. No.
So he started crying.
We were also
Okay.
discussing how there were always rumors about R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And these young girls, because a lot of people would say, well, why didn't somebody do something?
Yeah.
But I always thought, and you did too, right? Because it was always like the joke, oh, he liked the young girls.
Yeah. With all the charges that came out, all the speculation, social media did a whole lot to, you know, end him up where he is right now, honestly. That didn't exist 20 years ago, you know, when he was reported to have married Aaliyah. And everyone was like, well, how could anybody let that happen? Well, there was a lot of, like, you know, confusion as to what her actual birth date was, because they produced a birth certificate that showed that she was 18 when she was in actuality like 15 years old. And also there was like, well, the parents seemed to be okay with this, so nobody knew what to do.
Like, did the parents give permission?
Yeah.
It was just a lot. It
was
wasn't like he did a
weird.
lot of interviews either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been on one of his videos before?
I was in Happy People.
Okay. I like that song.
Yeah, the song was great.
Yeah.
The song
Do you
was
still
great.
listen to it?
No. I definitely do not.
So Melyssa,
listen
you did
to-
not make R. Kelly cry, but you try to console him.
It was very strange, and I was like, what is going on? And why is he crying?
I was
What did Melyssa
literally
do?
like, they're there. Just patting his shoulder.
Maybe it was tears of joy at that time.
I know.
Listen, Melyssa has lived.
Yeah, Melyssa, you honestly, like, she knows everybody. And so
She said,
it was always interesting.
Yeah.
And people would be like, whenever there was something happening, they'd be like, yeah, why don't you invite Melyssa Ford to see if she'll come out?
everyone loves Melyssa Ford.
Thank you.
But listen, I also want people to catch up with everything that you've been doing now, too, because I want to make sure while you're up here guest hosting, you know, you let us know.
Yeah, I mean, well, hit me up on Instagram. You know, that's where you're going to find out what I'm doing. But really, honestly, like, I just moved here in January. You know,
to New York?
Yeah, back to New York.
From where?
From LA. I've been gone for 8 years. I swore that my time here in New York was done. Kind of like a boyfriend that you finally say, all right, it's over.
That's
I'm
what Chloe
done.
Hilliard says. She's coming up next. She talks about the difference between New York and LA.
Yeah, you know what? This is how I put it, okay? Whenever people are like, what's the difference? I was like, New York is very hard on your body, but LA's very hard on your soul. That is how I would put the differences between living in these cities. New York beats you up a lot. You know, it's physical. You know, you're physically exhausted. But LA is a very, very, very lonely.
It's very subtle too. It's the things you experience are subtle, and you look up, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going
through? Because Jasmine lived in LA too.
Yeah.
I still have a place there.
Yeah, you literally look up one day and you're like, oh, my soul is eroding. Got it. Okay.
And to be clear, Melyssa is from Toronto.
From Toronto, Canada.
Yeah,
so I'm on my third lifetime, I feel
She's
like.
a Canadian gal.
Yes.
Is that the accent we're going with?
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I know that you're going to be up here in the future too.
All the time. Anytime you need me, I'm here to support my girl. Come up on the show, have some fun. Next time I'll bring some cocktails.
And she's really great at that too. All right, but
And finding
I just
a
wanted to
sponsor.
talk. We were talking about this whole R. Kelly situation, and so that is why I wanted to make sure you got to. Because when I was reading this story and you were here, I put it all together. Like, oh, I remember the time.
Yeah. Then he started crying
I
in my
bet
lap.
you
yeah.
crying in your lap.
Basic. I mean, like, I was just like, wait, what's happening here?
Melyssa was R. Kelly's therapist for like
2
five
seconds.
or 6 minutes.
So you're responsible. All right. All right.
I wish I
well,
could have done better.
Melyssa Ford is here again, guest hosting, and Chloe Hilliard is coming up next. She's a journalist. She's a comedian. She does talk about the difference between LA and New York because she is actually from Brooklyn, living in LA. It's Way Up with Angela Yee. You guys are going to love this, especially if you watch the Black Lady Sketch Show.
Way up.